Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fantasy Take TV podcast for round 10 just gone. Bit to talk about this week. A couple of injuries have popped up after the weekend, the last 24 hours, some popular picks. Pretty variance week as well in the scoring, so I saw some big ones, and then I'll tell you about my poor one in a second. But yeah, let's talk about some injuries, some hold sells, so some decisions with not only some premiums, but some rookies as well. Got to make sure we time the trade outs of them right. And then look towards some cash generators if there is any, but looks to be one or two that we'll talk about, and maybe a few more that could be possible. Some value picks, and then George has got down here ultra value picks. There's a couple we can talk about as well, especially with the cash drying up, and then just some strategy questions I think George has got from the Discord towards the end. And then the usual, obviously, captains for the next week. But George, how'd you go this week, mate?
Yeah, not too bad this week. 23.67, I think. It might have been 63. I can't remember. I got scaled, but okay week. Went up slightly in the ranks. Didn't have Horn Francis, so that was the only reason why I went up. That and probably Dawson was good. Trades this week were not great. Did TDK to Nick Martin. It did make 50k, so 50k is a bit hard to come by at the moment. So that's okay. He's got Richmond this week, so fingers crossed as well. The Tigers have been competitive, and I dare say Essendon will be nervous on that game. But this pick was a little bit arrogant. I did bias to Philippou, and that was a car crash of a watch. I don't know if you watched that game, but everything went wrong.
I was watching a different car crash in a different lane, mate. So I'll talk about that in a sec.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't love it, George. I did tell you a couple of times going in just straight away. But like, I get the vision. The kid's obviously talented, but I don't know. It was just, I don't know. It's probably, you get baited, because I kind of got baited with thinking I had to go Nas this week or probably never get him because of playing West Coast. It's like, God, it's just, I think we look much into it sometimes.
Nas was hurt 100%. I was limping throughout the game.
But I think Philip will come good. It's just, maybe it wasn't right to go straight away.
I'd like to speak on him later, even though I think only 4% owned. So there was some of us that did bring him in. I'd speak on him after. Hindsight, a little bit too much could have gone wrong with Roll. It's been out for 20 weeks or whatever it is. Anyway, Pooh gets my fault of the week for putting in a 50. Hopefully it'll be better for the run, fingers crossed. Hopefully that finger dislocation is all good. And MVP, I'm going to give it to Flynn. I think it's popular trade out. If you did trade him to Rowan Marshall, you could not care less. But he's going to make a little bit more, hopefully. And he's a little bit of time forward. BJ's going a bit in the ruck. In the first quarter, Flynn was in the ruck. I don't know what it is. I don't think he looks that bad, but you look at the opposition score, and I think Rowan nearly cracked the ton at quarter time. I think it was 86 at quarter time.
Something like that.
You just think he can't be going.
Flynn was on 40 as well.
Yeah. And then BJ rucked a bit more second quarter, and then Marshall had, I think, a 30 or 35 point quarter. So I think Flynn does enough right that they'll keep him as the main ruck. So yeah, he's going nowhere from my team for the buys. I think we're just going to hold him through. And got Geelong this week, I think. No, next week got Geelong, so he can stay for a bit. How did you go?
Did you say? Oh yeah, that was the MVP, obviously. Yeah, Flynn I traded out a couple of weeks ago with Daniel, so maybe a bad trade in hindsight now that we know how he's gone the last couple of weeks. But I mean, my score, man, didn't even crack 2,200. Obviously copped the Horn Francis for a lot of people, but I think those people still would have done better because I kept TDK as well. I was on my last boost. I've been on my last boost for a couple of weeks now. And to be honest, now knowing what we know and we're about to speak about, having that boost is going to be good this week. But it was just the wrong trading. So I did Bice and Elijah Hewitt out. I was tossing and turning whether Hewitt or Cleary or even a Lindsay, but no, I had to hold Lindsay, and I decided to keep Cleary for one more week over Hewitt. They're probably the other one's going this week anyway. But yeah, so did that, and then I got in Nas. I was going to go Whitfield.
That's so bad.
Thought the 50K would be better. And then what rookie did I get?
Did you get Cooper?
No. What did I do? Hold on. El Hooley, yeah, Sard, obviously, yeah. We'll speak about that. Whatever happened there, him getting subbed off. So yeah, I got Nas and got Sard. Like I was tempted to do TDK to Rowan for the boost. Look, obviously, probably would love if I did that anyway, but the boost this week's going to be handy. It just had to be Rowan over Nas altogether and just have the 3 rucks, get Rowan's big score, and yeah, Rowan at 500K. Look, I've had him in the past. I think I started him last year, and he was just diabolical at times, and he's even done it this year already with a couple like 60s. He just has that in his game, but he looked so good on the weekend and took like 5 contested clunks in the first quarter, I think. So that's why he was on 80, as well as his other work. But yeah, he just does everything, and when he's on, he's absolutely unreal. But when he's off, it can be bad. But it was just absolute disaster with Nas. Like it was coming up at a rate of knots. I think he had like 5 in the first quarter. Halftime had like 8 or 9, and then just second half, as you said, was a bit injured and proppy, and yeah, barely touched it in the last quarter. So look, Nas was someone I was spewing that I didn't start when he was like averaging 110 because I was really big on him. Then opted to not go for him in the end, and then to get him in like after 10 weeks of him not going less than 96 and get him on the particular week, he just has a stinker, like an all-time stinker. It's just tough, but yeah, look, MVP. As I said last week, it was hard to choose MVP this week. This week's pretty hard because there's a few candidates. Maybe Sink 130. Like I got him a couple weeks ago. A lot of people would have got him the week just gone, and he was good. Not much else, Cherry obviously, but he's been big for a lot of people. So yeah, someone like a Sink who's not as highly owned as those other guys. And Fault, yeah, it's Nas. Can't really be anyone else. But yeah, like last week, really good week, and then as you said, I think you said on your video, George, you just can't afford really weeks like this because I made a bit of ground last week and I've just given it all back, like back out to 10K.
Well, I think you fielded
tough.
30 because of TDK, right?
Yeah, so I kept TDK and I copped Horn Francis. So I was didn't have 23 on the field and had to cop Horn Francis, had to cop Nas. It just adds up really quickly. But that's you got to rank the rock. You got to nail your trades. Like you said it every week. It's very competitive nowadays. I get Rowan over Nas. I maybe hold ground and it's tread water for a week and then hopefully keep going next week. But I don't do that. Trade in a 60 and it's disaster. So it's tough. That's the game.
It's timing this game. A lot of it. You're 1 week off. Like that day cost, we're all going to get him that high break even. He goes 170. You're thinking, okay, well we missed that. We missed Rowan. This was predictable by Rowan though.
Definitely, definitely.
That's how it goes. I don't know. You got to time it.
Yep. Yeah. So some injuries, George. Some big name players, highly owned players. What's the latest?
Horn Francis, they're saying 4 weeks, so that's a week after his bye. That's on 9 News Adelaide tonight. McRae punctured lung. Tom Morris is saying at least 1 game. We don't have a time frame yet, so we'll keep an eye on the injury report. There's a report out in WA on Jeremy McGovern who said his return is in the hands of the AFL, whatever that means. So I'm not sure. It could be. Yeah. Hopefully, that's not as serious as it sounds, like retirement or anything like that. But fingers crossed for Gov. Still playing really good footy at his age, and yeah, wouldn't want him to have any CTE issues or anything like that. So prayers for him. Dangerfield's done a hammy. I'm not sure how long. I think it's at least 3. I think.
Yep.
I think he got door stopped. I watched it and I don't even remember what he said, but I think he said it wasn't too bad. I think Lynch is concussed. Not that matters, but I think you've got like a Sims up forward, so maybe that helps his job security because Lynch has had a few concussions, so I imagine there'll be more than one.
Yeah.
And just Jai Newcomb's in a moon boot, but not considered to be in doubt per Josh Gablich.
Okay. Well, the big ones we should talk about, I guess, in Horn Francis and McRae. Yeah, sucks for those that held him through Horn Francis, but I think for me it's got to be a trade. Like the buy makes it a bit more interesting because obviously he wasn't going to play anyway. But what's his break even shut up to with that 22? Like he's already just dipped under 500k because of the weekend, and now his break even's 157. Once he's comes back, how's he going to look? He drops at 85 or 90 or something, and then it's just as big, if not bigger, the break even. So he'll come
Roughly,
pretty crashing down in price. You think it's a trade?
I think 4 weeks is a bit too long. Like 3 weeks would make you think in this climate. I think 4 with the buy, and then I mean the last time people held someone over a buy was Clayton Oliver. That went from a 3 weeker to a 10 weeker. Yeah, I think it's definitely a trade.
Yep, I agree.
For a trade, that's a lot of the season. Like how many weeks we got left? Like 14. So that's nearly a third of the season.
Less. Yeah, McRae's a more interesting one because we don't really know yet, and it's probably hard for us to give a definitive answer before we fully know. But punctured lung, is that ever just 1 week? Like,
I dare say he won't be back before the buy. Like, why would you risk that for? There's no reason for that.
yeah, like if obviously misses this week. They got Melbourne round 12, and then Bayern round 13. I'm not sure why they would do that, but that makes it like 3 weeks. Obviously, one of them's a bye. Come back into playing the Dogs, who I think are the hardest mid matchup this year in unbelievable form. Obviously, it's his old team, so there'll be a few in Discord saying revenge game, but you're a bit concerned how he's looked lately as well. I've heard you say a few times.
I think I've said for the last month, sort of a watch. I think there's been a lot of scores. I'm trying to bring it up, but it's not loading.
Well, he has 370s and then a 160 in the last month, and that was that Freo game.
In the last 6 weeks, there's been 4 scores under 80. There's that one massive game against Freo where he went 160 and played the Dogs, scored the 104.
Yeah.
I guess it is kind of cherry picking, but you can see he has sort of tailed off. I mean, the stat line looks fine. 27 touches, 13 contested, 3 tackles, 2 marks, 55%. Could have easily been a 90 plus. I guess we need a timeline. If it's 1, I think it's probably a hold, but I'm not sure this is going to be top 6 from here.
Yep.
What are you thinking?
Well, I'm going to use my boost, and for me, it's just I'm just going to trade. Like, I'm probably assuming, like, if it is just 1, I probably won't, but I'm probably assuming it's definitely 2 till he's post buy, and then after the buy, like I said, he plays the Dogs, and then he plays Collingwood, and there's a few other options in the forward line that have popped up since. Like, obviously, early days, we thought he'd be bloody close to F2, like top 3 forward. And there's no reason he probably still can't be, but I don't know. I might need to just do it to get some points, like in my position, and definitely have a look at him.
Banking 100K, are we?
Once he's back, and still got guys like, I know a lot in the Discord are still a bit iffy on Marich, like long term. Like, obviously, I think he's been really good, and not looking to trade him. But anyway, something you monitor, like at the end of the buys.
Yeah.
For him, so like I'm gonna have to get Horn Francis back, I believe, once he drops and once he's back. Or I'll not have to, but I will want him. Like, to me, he's one of the top forwards. So I don't know. With Baz, obviously, track Rankin, obviously, all going well. He stays fit.
Chad.
And then there's Chad Jackson. Maybe we'll speak about later. I don't know. I think there's enough there that if I think McRae's going to be out for 2 weeks and then 3 with the bye, I'd probably trade it too. So
Yeah.
obviously, Horn Francis is more priority trade out than him. If you don't have a boost or you want to still get rid of one and then do an upgrade with your other 2 trades, but like for me, I could hold McRae, boost Levi out, like still use Levi and get an upgrade done. But I think I might just do McRae anyway and then upgrade Levi next week. So that's it. That's my early thoughts. But again,
Yeah, I think for those that are low trades, low cash, I think maybe a forced hold with Horn Francis as well. If you have both and you wanted to hold one, who are you holding?
well, yeah, McRae. Just like we know that Horn Francis is out for a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd feel fine moving off him. I feel like I'm in a bad position. I need to hold, but I'm definitely holding for this week because I have rookies that are going to lose cash. I need to get Cooper Simpson, so that's one trade, and then I'll trade the rookie up to a premium rather than trade McRae, so I don't lose cash.
But if
I'm
you had a
probably
boost,
thinking that.
you would.
I might
you
even
would
have to
do-
trade McRae next week. We'll see, but yeah, no boost.
Yeah,
Use 2
but
on
if you
ST.
had a boost, you would do it. So
Yep.
you would trade him. Yep.
I think trade if you're in position to. I think that's the consensus.
Yeah. So to get Cooper Simpson, make your upgrade with like a Levi or whoever, Hewitt, whatever, Cleary, those types, and then if you have a boost, I think it's fine to boost sideways McRae. But if you had both, I'd be boosting still and sidewaying and yeah, trading out Horn Francis ahead of McRae for now. But yeah, I guess we don't fully know McRae's timeline, so it's a bit hard to speak. But we definitely know Horn Francis. So yeah, weird one. Thrown, a lot of like was almost very close using my last boost last week. So obviously thankful I didn't, but yeah, so the sort of at the cost of Rowan and it's tough. Don't think there was a way of winning either way. So let's speak about some players that are hold or sell. So there's some rookies in here. There's some maybe underperforming primos, but we'll start with one of those, and that's Roberts. I think we're both of the opinion. We said it last week. Just get to his buy with him, and then turn him. Hopefully he can hold price well enough. He has some pretty decent matchups for halfbacks. With Melbourne, Adelaide, you've said all year, easy kill for halfbacks, and then Richmond just before his buy. So I see no reason to trade Matty Roberts now, especially, he can't with these other guys anyway, but yeah, he's a hold for me, George. What about you?
To me, he looks down on confidence and out of form. Kicking is not good, not getting as much of the ball. I think the run is good enough and the priorities are elsewhere at the moment. I think he'll be traded at the buy. And I think that was the plan 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I think we're going to stick to that plan. We might have to sell him for a little bit cheaper if he continues last 3, 82, 72, 84. But the run is good. Melbourne, Adelaide, Richmond. I'm going to hold and so he's projected if he goes 70, 107 and 100, he will drop another 16K. So I think I can cop that.
Yep.
So what's that averaging, like 90 over the next
3? I think it's more than doable.
I think I can cop that. So even if he averages 80, what's that, another 15K? It's going to hold and hopefully he can capitalize on some good matchups.
Yeah, I'll probably back him in more than most. And as you said, maybe these combos shouldn't be very long since we have those other priorities. It's just I don't know how you can be trading Roberts unless you somehow didn't have Horn Francis or McRae or something. But Bice, yeah, he's tailed off quite a bit as well. A lot of us traded last week. If you still have him, 84 break even. I think, yeah, you can. We just said those matchups are good for Sydney. So if you had other ways of getting upgrades through, like if you wanted to trade Levi instead, maybe, and keep Bice still, I don't hate it. But yeah, he's going to have to be used for an upgrade sometime. I can't see people trading all these other rookies. There's not many more up at that price that are ready to go. Like you're either just holding him and not getting an upgrade done, or you're trading him and doing it. So, yeah. We can speak about him and Levi if you want, George, in the same sort of bracket.
I think you had to sell him last week because he's dropped 21k, 370s, and he'll drop another 8k. I think that's fairly doable. So I think you could probably I don't think you'll cop much worse after this week. So I think you can hold if you need to, but I think I'd be moving off though, if you can.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, and Levi, what do you think about him?
Levi stays for me. I think bad ratio for a few weeks now. Hawks MCG. No, I like Levi. I'm happy to hold 86 break even. If you need an upgrade, use him for sure. If he's your avenue, I've got worse rookies with similar break evens, like Elijah Hewer, so he's going first. I'm going to hold Levi. I need him for round 13, so I'm going to hold him for round 11, 12, 13, I think. I'm holding. You can sell if you want.
Hewitt you spoke about. Yeah, he's a sell ahead of those. Cleary I think a lot will be selling to Cooper Simpson this week, being as they're both sort of forward-only rooks, so I'm fine with that. I held one more coming into this week, hoping that maybe we get a bit more cash out of him with the spike score, but it just hasn't sort of come since his first. He had a couple of decent games in his first 3, maybe, but yeah, since then he's just been sort of that 60 guy. Obviously, he had one poor one as well, but yeah, he's a trade for me, and I don't think you have to, but I think he'll just be very popular this week to go straight to Cooper Simpson, so that makes sense for me.
Yeah, it hasn't really hit that break even for 3. The last 3 is 63, 35, 58. Is capable of a spike score, but is capable of just being stuck in the forward line doing nothing. So I think he can go. If you can hold for 1, that's fine. You won't lose much if at all. But I think it was a promising rook for us. Big accumulator, was around the ball more early days, but yeah. Especially with Mills probably coming back, that's even less chance for around the ball for him. So I think he can go. Yep.
Matty Carroll, there's no way you can trade someone that's 187k anyway, so we just hold, hope he keeps playing, hope there's a spike score at some point and regenerate some cash. I've still got Moraes, and he somehow pulled out a 68 coming on as a sub. Just need some of that luck, really. So hopefully we can get that with Carroll. And then did you want to speak about a couple of sort of higher end primos? Because you've got Gawn here, you've got.
Well,
or should we leave them to a?
Now, I think this is serious consideration. I'm not saying this because I don't have him. Gawn is 744k with a 180 break even. If I have him, I'm selling.
Really?
I'm splitting him into 2 low 500s players. I'm going. Royal Marshall's fixtures bad, so it could hurt going to Rowan. I'll tell you what, Gawn was on for a shocker if they didn't kick to him 5 times in the last 5 minutes. I don't know if you saw that game.
Yeah, I did. I was scratching my hair out like you.
No, I'm selling this at 750.
It's not the worst.
No, I'm selling.
Funnily enough, some people, for whatever reason, bought him last week for
Well, yeah, he's got a frightening ceiling.
Yeah, I ummed it hard when he was 620, and I was like, oh, even then it's just a bit hard. Obviously that would have been the right call.
Do you think he'll drop 100k over the next 3 or 4 weeks? The problem, I think, his projected is a little bit unrealistic.
I'm not about to make a call on Max Gawn dropping money, dude. He'll pull 180 out of his ass and hit it this week for all we know.
His projected is 180, 170, 149, 148. So it's not really real. I don't think
it's not really real.
I'd be tempted, put it that way. You can go 200k to Rowan.
There's merit. Yeah, there's merit in it.
I think Yeah.
You'd be nervous.
200K. Where are you getting 200K from? Like Lindsay down, Reed, and Levi. Like that's about it. Look, I'd look at it, play around with it. Trading Max Gorn has not worked in the past. I've done it twice, and it made the game unplayable. But he is 750.
It's just nerfing yourself, really.
Well, would you? Would you? Not saying do it. Would you look at it? Would you play around with it? 750K.
I don't know. If Cherry pulled a 110 next week and his break even went to 180, would you trade Cherry?
No way.
Exactly.
He's my captain.
Exactly. So
okay, maybe not then.
It's very hard.
Cherry's a bit younger.
To do.
Gorn second halves.
Maybe if you had both, Jords. If you had both, you trade Gorn and you have Cherry. Like, I think it's a hard thing for someone to do if you only have Gorn and you don't have Cherry. But hey, mate, looking at both of them in your ruck line would be pretty nice, wouldn't it? You wouldn't want to break that up, would you?
Yeah.
It's just VC and C. Sit there, shuffle it every week and walk out happy. You know, you don't have to even stress one bit.
I mean, we're Cherry owners, and the C does not move off Cherry for the. I don't care what the matchup is. The VC or C does not move off him.
No,
it can't.
No.
So yeah.
Anyway,
food for thought.
Let's talk about some cash generators. So yeah, Cooper Simpson, get him in. I don't think we need to talk a hell of a lot of, long time about it.
Halfback role looks good.
Yeah, halfback role. Moved there in the preseason. They like him. He's played well since coming in. Beggars cannot be choosers. Like we just have to get this. Sure, the last 5 rookies we've got that looked good options have all gone 30 and subbed and whatever. Yeah. But hey, what's the 6th? We got to take it. It's the other ones, George. And look, it probably isn't the week again, to be honest, because a lot of people are either going to have to trade these injured premiums. Like it's just trades this week are going to be very just narrowed, and it's just going to come down to who we trade in. For like
Cooper in and Horn Francis out will be majority.
Correct. So like it's hard to probably grab a second cash generator, but I guess we can speak about a couple that may be on the horizon. The main one is probably Dante Vicentini. I should get you to say that in your Italian accent, but he's got the number 1 ruck role at Port. I'll be brutally honest, George, I haven't watched a Port game the last 2 weeks. So I've missed footy on like the Saturday. They must have played. Yeah, they played Showdown, and then so you probably watched that, and then they played on Saturday again last week. So I've missed Port's last 2 games. There might be some people there that, I don't know, traded TDK and they need like a ruck, or they didn't, there's maybe a handful of people out there that will be looking at this. So what do you watch the Showdown against the Crom, and how did he go in that, and what do you think?
I think the clearance work's been better with him in there. Like our midfield got caned that game. I defer to Port supporters on this. I asked one on old SCS SuperCoach scores, and Port supporter like, what do you think of Dante? And he basically said, like, good poster there. He said, well, Port season's pretty much done, and they need to play the future. So why wouldn't you play Dante? They've already seen what they've seen from Sweet. Let's see what Dante can do. Now, that doesn't mean that Sweet doesn't come back in. I think Sweet not destroyed maybe, but he did a good number on our number 2 ruck, which was McAndrew. So I don't know if he's pressing his case or not. 240K for number 1 ruck. It's the VFL numbers I saw were much better last year than this year, so I don't know what's happened there. And yeah, this game here played on blitz halves and Neil, dropped an 80, which you probably wanted a bit more out of that matchup. The DT score was fine. It was nearly a ton. I think he gave up a few hitouts to Shannon Neil, which is not really what you want. No disrespect to Neil, but he's your second relief ruck. I'm going to skip. I think they give him game. It makes sense for them, given where they're at. It makes sense for him to get games.
Yep.
I don't have a strong opinion on him, to be honest. I didn't watch him closely enough. I did see him compete. He seemed to compete like body on body, not too bad. But it's just whether he's going to play or not. Because number 1 ruck, it's nearly impossible to do under 70 as number 1 ruck.
If he plays, he has to make at least 100K, and then there's just upside for more. But if it was a bit cheaper than 250, I think it'd be obviously a lot easier to do. But 250, he only
I
had
made
6
my
hit outs
bed
to
with Midfield
advantage.
too, so I'm going to pass.
Out of his 33 hit outs, only had 6 to advantage. And maybe part of that's obviously Horn Francis. What did he go down in the first quarter, or was it
very early?
Yeah, very early, and then Butters getting tagged. So obviously they got destroyed in there.
Yeah, I think if you can make it work, I think it's low risk because if you play, at least you should make 50K off the bat, and then you got a number one ruck. Does have the buy. It's not risk free, but this is, I think, it's the second best option to Cooper.
Yep, and it's just hard, as I said, with what's happening this week to sort of get Cooper and him. So yeah, maybe if people went Cooper early, it's something to look at. But yeah, as you said, probably the second best. There's a couple others here, like Day Wicks. Did he just score another 30? They got
30s.
obviously
I think Gresham's
destroyed.
come back. I dare say El Hawley getting subbed over
Day Wicks.
There's a lot of blokes that could have been subbed that game.
Yeah, didn't watch that one either, but yeah, not many people were happy with that subbing.
That was disgraceful.
Not looking his way. Erasmus honestly might be one we've missed. Now I didn't watch, as I said many times, Saturday games, but he got 58% CBAs. Like he was fourth man in there. Obviously, since Hayden Young's gone down, Shea's obviously got a bit of an uptick. It's obviously Sarong, Brayshaw, and then it was Shea, and then Erasmus. So it was hard to obviously trade him in 2 weeks ago when he was on the bubble and was sub, because I was going to go him over Boxall, and that obviously couldn't do it when he's sub. But maybe now he's got a role in there, and I think so Matty Johnson had the sort of next highest as well. So it's sort of 5 guys that sort of ran through there. I don't know. It's hard to trade in Erasmus now for 170, but he might be one that turns out to make a decent amount, unfortunately, but we probably missed it.
He could. I think O'Driscoll's coming back, and I think he's sub out Bait.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Noddy. I thought he was due back earlier than this, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Noddy, but yeah, you're probably right actually, but yeah, just can't trade that in now. Anyway, can we, George? Boxall, I mean, he's still there. Obviously, with this McRae news, it might be something you can look at if you don't have him. But again, I think it's just for those of us that do have him, we just pray maybe he comes back in and gets sort of that fourth role. But then obviously there's Philippou sitting there as well that they can just sort of put into McRae's spot if it's a bit more of a longer term thing. So I'm not sure, but yeah, obviously it's probably just those of us who have him just sit there and hope. And if you don't, I'll probably, again, it's hard to sort of trade anyone else in this week.
Yeah. I'll speak about Philippou in a sec. Any thoughts on Sims?
I like him. He's not going to score much though. And I mean,
does he stay in the team?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, as you said, with Lynch out, I don't see how he gets dropped now. But when Lynch is back, I mean, he's been given the second ruck role. So we sort of played around with that a bit this year already. It was like Blight, it was Blight to start with. He was doing it from defense, and then he played some forward, and then he got dropped. Don't know why, really. Tried Samson Ryan for a week. Don't know why, really, again. And then obviously Sims has come in now after a couple of weeks. We were using bloody Camden McIntosh. So, yeah, look, he's there. Don't expect much. I wouldn't be trading him in as like a forward rookie. Maybe if you still had Archer Reed or like me, or, you needed an R3, that you want to maybe get one that could sneak 100K somehow for later down the track. He could be the one. But I wouldn't expect much from him. So
if you can get 100K out of him, I think it might be okay if you've got by some miracle, a spare trade.
I kind of can't do it now. I was probably going to, because I've still got Archer sitting there. But now that I've got to use this boost and do obviously get these injured guys out, I probably, because he's on the bubble this week, right? Yeah, I have to let him go. So I'll probably just end up doing Archer to a loop. But yeah, if you had the chance to, may as well. Like I had that same thinking round one. I just may as well get Arch because probably going to play, and took it. Scored a 70, scored an 80, and then bam, there's 100K. And that could be pretty handy maybe down the track. Obviously, you're just going to have to need another trade to trade it out. So if you have the chance, yeah, I think it's fine.
Maybe only if you need to cash in Archer or something.
Yeah. Don't get him in the forward line bench.
Yep, no good.
Don't bother. And then we want to speak about these other three. So could be cash generators, but also could just be decent actual picks for us that are very cheap. We'll speak about some other more proven value primos, but there's Mills, who hasn't played yet, but has played a half in the VFL. Looked really good, but obviously, we'll wait for him until we actually see him. But there's Kitty, who played his first game back this week, and there's obviously Philippou, who you got in for his second game, right? So how many of these guys do you think we might have to go, George? And obviously every team has to check their cash gen. There's some people out there with great team value, but I think a lot would be more on the where's my money coming from side of things. So how many of these players do you think might end up in our team?
As many.
Who do you even consider? Who do you like?
Well, Jasper, I think, has gone to the wing. So Kitty's got that role. That role is his, and he'll be better for the run.
Yep.
You'd think. So I think Kitty's probably the preferred, and the job security you'd think is good. I mean, could they sub-manage him? I don't know. I don't think so. Probably not. Like Vizantini sort of in this bucket too. It's just that Viz you have to go this week, whereas these two you can wait. Or these three. I think Kitty, Pooh, and Vizantini. I think I feel safest with Kitty and Coleman because I think you should be able to do 75s at least, and that should make you 100k with the potential for a spike score. So he's my preferred. Dante's hard because of the job security, but I think he'll be okay. Mills, we'll see. We'll worry about that when it comes. And then Philippou, well, you don't go Philippou right now. If you see a massive turn, I think I said before, now that I probably didn't think straight because I just liked him and I wanted to start him, I was pretty big on him. You got to remember, I think Ross said basically we threw him to the Wolves in the midfield for a bit. I thought from what I saw, I don't want to spend too long on Philippou, but this is what went down was first half. He played all right. It was on almost 40. I think it was on 38 or 39 at halftime. Started to work his way into the game with very low TOG. Then he went forward into the third quarter. Then he went back in the midfield and immediately dislocated his finger as soon as he went back into the midfield. So that sent him back forward. Then he set out the game. So what are we looking for here from Kitty? Like 75 at least?
Yeah.
What are we looking for Philippou? Philippou's a bit more expensive. You probably need 80, 85. And we're setting a low bar because there's literally nothing else. So I think Pooh's issues are his role. I think there'll be mid-time, but there'll also be forward time. And then he's had a very, very long layoff. Whereas Kitty's probably been building, had that extra time. Maybe he's a bit more ready. I don't know. Look, I think Kitty's the one you go for. And however many you can get is however many trades you can afford to get in. Because who are you downgrading to next week?
Don't know.
Who are you downgrading the week after? Who's on the bubble the week after? There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. And that's why I can consider selling a Gorn type. So I think the best downgrade next week, it's most likely going to be Kitty Coleman. Would I go early? I think because of the complications he had coming back, I have concerns over the durability for sure. Just see how he pulls up again. I mean, I'm a little bit reckless. I didn't really consider that with Philippou, but just the nature of Kitty's injury and the complications that he had.
Yep.
You don't want him to come around with knee soreness or anything. Where I think Pooh's pretty much fully recovered now. I'd be planning for Kitty and Coleman. Now, I don't know how the hell I'm going to make it work next week. I'd love to get Carroll straight to him, but I don't have that cash. Are you planning to get one of these guys in, or like a Kitty or a Dante over the next few weeks?
I think you said Kitty's the one. He did before the year before the knee at the start of 24. In 23, did 71 from 20 games. But the year before that, he did 87 from 15 games. Let's not forget, he didn't get the flag. He'll be as hungry as probably the hungriest bloke on the list, to play well, keep his spot, and play in this team that's hopefully pushing to go back, back to back. Like he'll be playing it like he'll be trying real hard to keep his spot and play well. So
you're planning to get him in?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have to do a pick like this for sure.
Yeah.
Where it actually fits in my bloody defense on my my field, he might just have to sit at flex until I sort that out and trade Zach Reed whenever he's finally ready to go. Which I don't know, maybe never.
Would you do a Zach Reed to Kitty next week?
We might not have to even bother talking about that when Zach Reed takes 14 intercept marks on Richmond when we have no forwards next week. So
my goodness.
Don't worry. If you don't have Zach Reed, I'm really sorry, but it might be another hard watch on Friday night.
So I think we're saying probably don't go early. I mean, I wouldn't blame if you did.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame
being pessimistic with the coming off the knee.
I probably wouldn't go. Well, my team's different. I can go someone else, but because I got Bo Allen to sort of swing to the mid, so maybe Fastweight doesn't look like he's coming back. But with my trades I'm doing, I've got still 100k in the bank because I had that last week. So yeah, I think that's a good way of spending it, just to get some decent score on field and hopefully make some money from Kitty. I think he's a good option. Yeah. And I guess I don't want to be that guy, but there's also upside if he actually gets the back line to himself. If there was ever something to happen to Dane Talco, which just is never going to happen at this point.
That acupuncture,
but
miracle dust in it.
Yeah, it does miracle. Yeah, you even got dunks on that, I think, as well. He's spoken about it before.
Okay, get him in.
Yeah. So
I actually I didn't like Zorko for a while. It was a bit dirty, but I actually really enjoy watching him play. He's a jet back there.
Oh, he's very good. Yeah, for sure. I just don't know how he's doing it still. That. Like obviously, it's
I think he's same age as Goldie, like 1 year apart.
That looked pretty rough on the weekend. But yeah, playing for Kitty, I think that's the moral of the story. These other guys like Mills, we've got to just actually see him play AFL game first and get through 2 of them, and then see what he's like, where he's playing. And Philippou, sorry, George, I just don't think I'll be looking his way.
Well, I'm not giving up on Philippou, I believe. But a little bit needs to go right, and I think we'll need a bit of time. So I think hang in there if you own him, and cross your fingers or your dislocated fingers and see how we go. But
I mean, with the McRae news.
I think also somebody asked, like, does McRae, one of the questions, like, does McRae help Philippou? Well, they threw Owens in there, they threw Nass in there, they threw Sinclair in there. Like, Hunter Clark could come in, I think, if he's available. Boxall could come in. I'm not convinced it's as easy. Philippou's going to get heaps of time now that McRae's out. I don't think it's that simple. That's enough. We'll move on.
All right, let's talk about some more value primos that are like proven guys we've owned in the past.
Very cheap. We're talking
that are cheap for what they can possibly produce. And it just always works that way, George. I own Dunks. I see him come down. He gets to 520 odd. He comes good. He scores a 130. Now he scores a 110. Looks pretty decent. Is there other guys like that? Can we put Sarong in the same bracket? Would you be looking towards him? So we'll put like the mids in the sort of bracket first. There's Dunks, Sarong, like I said. Heaney, one that people are looking quite towards. He had, I think, season high, almost 90% CBAs in the weekend. Absolutely dominant. Had 7 shots on goal and 30 odd touches. And I think I don't know why he loves playing Carlton, but he really wants to put them to the sword every time he does. And the Swans have a really good run sort of coming up. Well, who do you like out of those? And obviously you own 2 of them like me, but if you had to sort of put them in a sort of bracket, who would you like? And is there anyone else that I miss? You had Walsh there as well, but I just think with that buy, you probably wouldn't look towards him.
Well,
still there.
The reason why I mentioned Walsh is he's probably going to have a Bedford tag this week. He's got a 120 break even. So say he drops an 80, he's going to be under 500. And his post buy, I guess this is probably why he should have held Chera. Essendon, West Coast, North.
Hey, you don't have to twist my arm too hard to make me trade in Sam Walsh. I don't know why, but I always love doing it. And if it's for sub 500, I'd have to look that way.
Yeah,
but
I think we're at the point where, like, maybe you're in a different boat. You have a good cash gen, and there were a lot of good ones at the start, but with like, there's just some of us that needed more to come through. It hasn't happened, so we really need to look at like low 500s is like the new 550 this year. So, look, we speak about Sarong. This is the first time in 5 or 6 weeks he's hit 110. I think in terms of like the way I think, like Sarong, good age, durable. He's not going to slow down.
Can't play anywhere else but midfield. Like he's
Role
like,
secure. Tag shifted to Andy this week. That kind of helped. Well, I got Andy, but like it helps Sarong a bit. And Sarong's more of a pod, so I'd rather him not get tagged. Like 520, 530. I don't think he's top 8 from here, but I think 530 is a fair price for him.
Do you still like Dunkley more?
Yeah.
Yeah. Better
Dunkley's
team.
got a bit more outside games. Also got contested marking, which he gets a few scores from there. So I like Dunkley a little bit more. Yeah. When you ask me this, I feel like it changes depending on like last
I
night.
know.
I don't think Sarong's 110, but I think he can do like 105 for low 500s. That might not be enough for you, but just based on what we've seen for the entire year, would you trade him in for this price?
I think Sarong. Yeah. Yep.
Heaney,
maybe,
yeah,
because Port tagged, don't they, with Bergman? Did he tag?
I don't think so. Didn't think he tagged Holmes.
Just played in the midfield. Maybe once they lost Horn Francis, they sort of, I don't know. Yeah, I still think he's the best option. I don't know. It's a very hard thing to say having owned him for the last 7 weeks, but like he couldn't have played probably much poorer, and he still managed to crack the ton every week. So I think the upside's there, and it's just how this game works. He's sort of bottomed out. He's going to find some form, and it's just going to happen for him. Free obviously actually found some form themselves too, after whatever happened a couple of weeks ago against the Saints.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's quite a few. So I think Sarong's still probably the best. But I want to ask you about Dawson as well. But if you got something to say about Sarong.
Oh, I think the hope with Sarong is that the tag shifts to Andy.
Yeah, I was thinking that 3 weeks ago. It finally happened.
It's happened. So I think you kind of bet on that.
Does it continue to happen? I don't know. Dawson, George. Should I still be looking at him as someone who doesn't have him?
I dare say 550 is
with West Coast coming
steep.
up.
He's like been yeah. Have you seen his scoring pattern?
No, I know. It's always like that.
Yeah, it's up and then way down. Your West Coast this week, I think that should be a fill your boots. Hopefully, they're coming off the win. They got to travel to Adelaide. They can't really match him in the air, I don't think. Around the ground, hopefully, he can kick straight. Is it because of this West Coast matchup?
Well, just in general, he's probably turned a corner the last few weeks. I know there was like
the Bergman tag.
Yeah, so I sort of forgive him for that week copping a tag like that.
He's in good form. With Dawson, like they are going to be floor games. They happen. They will continue to happen. But I think the run's not bad on the way home. There's a West Coast and a Richmond, and there's double West Coast. There's a North and there's Richmond, and Melbourne. There's a lot of the run's not too bad. Is he top 8? I think it's possible. Just know that when he has his really good games, they're bad ratios every single time. So when he regresses, the bad games are bad. Look, I'm okay with the pick. Like, there's going to be bad weeks, but I think the ceiling's there that he can sort of cancel a few of those out. I'm hopeful. Like I've maintained all year. I think he's just under 110. What's he doing now? Like 105, I think.
106.
106. I think it's probably, there's a chance he can go more than that, but yeah, I think he's a decent target. Like I think 105 should be at worst case.
And then Thomas Green, someone you don't like too much because of his calf. Is it just this calf injury probably had, when he was 15 years old, and George has just got it written down somewhere. And
Yeah.
No, I like him. I know you don't want to go there, but I think for other people who are interested, again, he can be frustrating at times, Tom Green, because he does have some really bad games, sort of just with his disposal,
Yeah.
But he like their run's pretty decent, and I don't know. I think he's in decent form. He actually only scored 78 Dream Team in the weekend, but decent, like real obviously one of the best contested ball winners in the league. So Finn Callahan out as well, right? We didn't mention that off the top, but 3-4
Oh
weeks
yeah. Forgot about that one. Yeah.
with his shoulder, so a bit more responsibility on him now for the next month. Is that a good thing?
I think so. It doesn't really get tagged. I mean, I'm just biased because of you done 3 soft tissues over 3 years, I think. So that's not really, that's just how I think. You don't have to, like, I'm not telling people to think that way. You get punished for it all the time for thinking that way, like with Zorko for how many years. So, no, I think it's fine, Pete. Like, is he doing less than 110? He shouldn't be really. He's got the game to go 110 plus. So,
Yep.
yeah, it's a weird one because I feel like he's just under sort of performing and just putting the numbers on the board, but it's not spitting out the scores. The last few weeks, it's been all right. Oh, look at the scores this year. There's no reason why he shouldn't be doing 110. I don't think. Like, it's not like Brisbane where there's four guys averaging 100 plus. It's just him, and like now the Finn's out. Yeah, I think he's a good. Yeah, he'll score for you. Like, he'll be a good target. No reason why can't score well.
Yeah, I agree. Did we speak about Andy much, or did I just sort of mention him? Would you go there, or would you just spend the extra 20, 30, 40K for any one of the guys we just mentioned?
Who? Sorry.
Isaac.
Oh, Isaac Heendog. I don't know. Mills coming back, maybe more time forward. Damn, he looked good. Maybe he just worked his way into the season because he was in a moon boot for a lot of preseason. I mean, he's got the game to go 115 plus, and we saw that in the weekend. If he kicks straight, that's a walk up 180 game. So probably 200 to be honest. But I don't know. I think I always say that ankle worries me. That's sort of remember him. He interviewed about it and just said, yeah, it's sort of the reason why he was injured in the finals was because his ankle, like other body parts, compromised for the ankle that he has, and he had to get rested late last year. I don't think that's really enough reason to fade. So I think he's fine by like again, he's similar to Green. He's got the game to go 110 plus. So I think it's fine. Like I wouldn't mind.
Yeah,
They're all decent targets. Like
there is quite a few. Yeah,
they're all capable of 110. Like Sarong, Heaney, Green.
Look, we may as well do every line. So I know we have some forwards written next, but let's just go back to defense, I think. And I don't know. I feel like a lot of people have probably traded in a lot of defenders by now and maybe just waiting for Rosie to go back there and probably not looking like it's probably now the time for those mids, which is why we sort of talked about them first. But if there is anyone that's still looking at one more defender, I guess we should go over it just quickly. Obviously, Nas dropped to 60. His break even's over 140 now. So it's like, you probably just leave him for a bit.
Clark right here for 520K.
Mr. Missionary, man. He just had that 2-week patch going. No, I'll keep you on your toes. Here's a 50 and then a 150, but no, straight back to 105.
The average, the 4-round average, so the average, 3-round average, and the 5-round average is pretty much the same. It's like within a few points of each other. Like when there's a storm, you just got Jordan Clark just 105, 105, 105.
There's something cathartic
shit going everywhere else, and he's just chilling. Like it's.
I could just not look at my team all weekend, and I know when I open the app on Sunday night, there'll be a 105 right there. So you can't hate that, honestly. But he's obviously there, 520K. I think Sink's
top
still
6 at the moment.
Yeah, still. Yeah, you'll be loving that. Sink 539. Ballydale as well. Obviously shot back to really good form. I mean, I don't know how
49
touches.
touches,
It's
bro.
crazy, dude. It's so funny to watch it, like seeing where he's come to, having played juniors with him when he just was playing forward and just like an X factor forward, have like 10 touches a game, but that'll be like big highlight plays or like he'd steal the ball off someone or just crazy goals. But now he's just an absolute pig in the defense, just junking it up. It's hilarious. But yeah, 124, 127, 144. Would have been a great buy at 477, but I don't think I'd be trading him in now for 540.
Yeah.
Like,
I think the
thing is, I
post
think
buy-
there's merit in it because you're going to say the Marvel run, like it's pretty good
that's
for the
a
Dogs.
lot of Marv on the list.
St
2,
Kilda
4,
there,
6,
Richmond there,
8,
North
9.
at Marvel, Essendon at Marvel. Damn.
Yeah, 9 out of 12, I think. 9 out of 13.
West
Yeah.
Coast at Marvel. Oh god, yeah, could be good, but my defense is done. So,
Yeah.
you'd be happy if you had him. But yeah, who do you like? Like Sink still, if you didn't go in this week, still at a nice price for what someone like him can do.
Nas, if you want to finish your defense after the bye, now he's thrown in this bad one.
Yep.
I like Nick Martin.
Yeah, we could talk about him for defense or forward, but then there's Whitfield who sort of just has a 115, 120 break even every week and he just hits it. Like,
you're going to have to pay this price for him at some point.
Yeah.
I think what was good, like Lockie Ash was stealing his ball. I don't know if you saw, but Whitfield was about to intercept, and Ash like ran from the side, took it, and dashed off. I was like, yes.
Mate, if Ash didn't exist,
10K.
he'd probably be going bloody 130 if Ash didn't exist this year because he's been absolutely cooking. So,
and Ash was taking quite a few kick-ins, like without looking at the stats.
It was 8 for Ash, 5 for Whitfield. Jeez,
Yeah,
he's helping us here as non-owners.
Yeah,
from going berserk. So,
he's going to come in at some point. I don't know when, but it's going to happen.
I mean, for me, it's for Roberts, but that's going to cost buddy how much, however much money. So
downgrade your Carroll and Huswaite to 99K and get Roberts. Oh my goodness!
Go finish your team with one trade.
And just storm in the office and say, "Stick this vest up your ass, Mini. I'm starting."
Yeah.
You can do something for us.
All right, let's get to some forwards because we've probably saved it for the most important one this week with the likes of Horn-Francis and McRae. So I think if you pull it up too, George, like forwards by average, Baz is just like ridiculous. We're going to, by the way, start putting the VC on Baz, which we may do this week on the Thursday night. Obviously, Dogs, not an easy matchup, but it's the Bailey-Dale Cup. Freaking fly him in my way. He's just cooking on a whole nother level, 120 average this year. Jackson's actually number 2, like for average, not total points. He obviously missed a couple, and he's basically been number 1 ruck for I think every game except one when Trek was in. McRae actually number 3, George. So obviously with the injury, we don't know fully the timeline yet exactly, but we obviously know he'll at least miss one. I'd say almost safe to assume 2, but we don't know for sure. Rankin, Warner's into 5th now with 100 average, and then you got Nick Martin this week, who's just a tick under 100 average for the year. Track, I think we expect to be in there as well. So with McRae out, Horn-Francis, obviously his average is a bit worse because the 22 and he had those couple of games. Who do you think is like the ideal forward line we want now? And obviously a few of us still have Marriage. Some will have Daniel still as well. But with Baz, Track, Rankin, Warner, let's say one of Daniel or Marriage. Like, who's the other one you want? Is it Nick Martin? Like, I know you got him in this week. Is he the one you like the most?
Yes. I mean, Luke Jackson's solo, but if not, I like Nick Martin. I watched the role.
Yeah, what'd you see?
I didn't understand the role, but it was good. I thought it was mostly starting off the forward flank, but helping out a little bit down back. But he was around stoppages a lot. We're getting contested handballs and stuff. So it was around the ball. And then when the game was dead, I think, quarter 4, he was like the only one just like gunning for cheap ball and whatnot. And I think, 95 in a really, really bad loss like that. I don't know. I think he's got that poor score priced into him again in Anzac Day because he had his like calf strapped or something like that. Was under a bit of a small cloud or something and low tog. So I think his true average probably like 103-ish, which I think is enough for a forward. And he did 107, I think, post-buy, or 107 in the forward half forward role last year. Like sometimes he starts on the wing, but he doesn't even play as a wingman.
Yep.
I think that was when O'Hawley went off in the second half, which made no sense, by the way. I mean, there's no reason why he doesn't do over 100 like last year.
Yep. Is there anyone else sort of around the 500k mark? Like, I don't think so.
Well, I think Peatling got absolutely Matthew Nixed and a half, 62% tog. Like,
oh,
not
really?
even Crouch was getting that low.
What the hell?
And he's scoring quite well. His average without Crouch is it's about 110. That being said, Crouch is probably going to come back in 3 or 4 weeks, so probably can't really go there. It's probably a good buy when he was low 400s and the midfield switch sort of happened. But like, I don't want to speak about the Crows, but in the right conditions, he could be one, but not sure that happens. Kennedy is doing well. Could we sneak one after the bye?
Yeah, it's tough. He's doing well. Like, can't write him off, but it's just I don't think I'd ever have the guts to go there. You know, one that interests me, George, is actually Cozzy Pickett, and I'm probably obviously never going to trade it in, but like he's quietly been pretty good this year. It's just tough. You're probably never going to trade him in, but he's playing like I think he's getting like 60-70% CBAs most weeks, but it's sort of that centre bounce then shoot forward type role. Like I don't think he follows the ball around much after that. Melbourne have been good lately, but yeah, I don't think it's just hard to trade him in. I think there's better ones.
64% CBAs for the year, very high.
Yeah. It's just that like literal centre bounce and then swap with whoever's off half forward type. But been good. Shea Bolton.
That's the one I've been waiting for you to speak on. He's
I have
looking
to
good.
go watch this game because I'll always be a supporter of Shea. I know he has his stinkers. He's kind of like Russell Westbrook. It might be hilarious for me to say that because Russ has probably got in his prime like more of accolades like MVP. Like Shea probably's never going to win like those type of awards in the AFL, but his highs are like super high. He can be like match winner for you, and then his lows are just like, get this guy off my screen. What the fuck are you doing? Like it's just he's that type of player. But I think when Freo are playing well, which they have been lately, you've seen what Shea can like add to the team. So it's more of a bet on that than it is also on Shea. I don't know how confident I would be in that with Freo because they're so, I don't know, unpredictable. So I think it's a really good option at 4:30, especially with like the cash situation and all that. It just would take some bit of kahunas and you'd have to be prepared for what could possibly happen some weeks. But I actually really like their run too, Freo, in the coming weeks. A lot of home games, a couple bad teams in there. I think it's a play. It's for sure a play. Am I going to do it? Maybe. I don't have Chad Warner though, and it's sort of like, do I get Chad for 540? Doesn't feel great getting Chad for that much when he was a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
but he's similar, like in a way, can have some stinky ones too. But look, ever since Hayden Young gone down, Shea's been in there, and he actually does play like it doesn't. When he used to get CBAs, it used to be get the CBA, try to get us a centre clearance, and then Andy off half forward or whatever. You're back on the ball. It's actually now, and I didn't fully watch the game. I watched the KO mini because I wanted to see how much he dominated. But he's actually more playing around the pill, like as a midfielder. So it's got merit, George. You just got to have some balls to do it, I think. But if you're really struggling for cash, I'm not going to say no. No,
negative 8 break even.
He just scored 5 in a full game. That's the thing. Like, how does that happen? Like 3 weeks ago, how does that happen? But that game was obviously pretty ridiculous from what Freo did. But he's one of the most traded in players already, George. I was looking this week, like other than Cooper Simpson, he's second. So
I don't mind it.
Yeah,
doesn't really work for me, but yeah, a lot of looking at the heat map, a lot of ball in the middle of the ground, in mid forward, like not much like on the wings. A couple here. No, he man looks pretty good. He's good to watch. Insane talent.
Yeah, I think as I said, it just sort of you're betting on Freo, keeping up their form, and I think it's possible with their coming run. So yeah, I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. Anyone else like forward wise before we move on? They're sort of the main ones.
Really.
Um,
Just maybe touch on Daniel. I did
Oh,
trade.
yeah.
We both traded. I
Yep.
think Sheaver was pure mid forward, so
Yep.
should be all good.
Yeah, you can hold him till he's by, see what happens. I mean, now that like there's forwards dropping like flies, he's definitely you got to obviously hold him and trade those other ones. I think pending McRae, but yeah, still got him. Cool, traded him. Cool, same thing. Whatever. I'm not
Yeah.
getting him back, but yeah, maybe he actually pulls his finger
Yeah.
out.
He's too high owned to get him back in. Like, there's no way you touch him again. Just as more of an ownership play if you traded.
Yep. And there was just a couple other I want to speak about, just some high break-even players. So they're just this week's targets, and then we just want to quickly look at who could be in the future. So, I mean, George's got his favourite man, Lloyd Meek, at 208 break-even.
See the clip of Meek was on the Sunday Footy Show.
Oh, yeah, a couple of weeks ago or last week.
Yeah, and like Matty Lloyd, I think he was named after Matty Lloyd.
That's
like,
right.
Something like go watch that clip if you haven't seen it, but that's pretty funny, the story behind that. Yeah, but Meek has 208 break even. He spat out a 40 for some reason, then he got managed. So you wonder if he was carrying something. I don't know, but it's a bit odd
against Gorn, right? Against Gorn.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So I think like Meek's, what is he, 500? 550 with 200 break even. So if you need an like that, Gorn's not happening for me. I mean, it could happen, but like multiple, say like 4 bad scores in a row need to happen for that to even be entertained. But if he averages 105 the next 3, he'll drop to under 500k. I think it's not the worst buy. You probably want him a little bit cheaper than that because then he runs into a Rob and a Sherry matchup. But I think after that, the fixture's pretty good. So I don't mind Meek if he like puts in a few bad ones and sort of mid to high 400s. Another one is so Butters and Merritt both have a 200 break even. Just my worry with Merritt is this O'Sheen Mullen tag is the new pain in the ass going around. Yeah, very tight clamp. He has that coming up. He has that twice for the rest of the season if that does happen. So that I don't like. Plus, there's a Bedford and a James Jordan if that happens.
And they just throw him forward.
Can't really, even though he's. Say again, sorry.
They just throw him forward when that happens. So it's like
that was odd. Yeah, I think maybe. Yeah. So I think Merritt is going to be cheap. Would you still take it for 500k? Maybe last upgrade after the buy, potentially after this. Do you really want to work around tags too much? Like round 17 is like a very last upgrade after his buy. I mean, you could go there.
I've still got to get Merritt. Butters is number 1 when he is gettable.
Yeah, and then
I've still got to get Nick, and then I've probably still want to get Andy at some point if he ever dips.
You could go Nick this week. He's got North, but it's high break even.
I'm thinking about it, yeah. But yeah, Butters and Merritt.
Butters, again, like tags potential here. Bedford, I don't think Melbourne will tag him like that. Oliver, I think they'll just let him play now. They did use Viney. I don't know.
Maybe
and then there's like a James Jordan tag here. So I think
I worry he gets. I mean, he's always gonna. He should be the one getting attention, right? It's Zach Butters. Like he should be the one.
Yeah.
Francis out for a month. Teams might see like if we can quell Butters, what have Port got in there?
Oh look, even with tags, if Butters is getting to like mid 500s, I'm just going to take it.
Oh yeah, without doubt. Yep.
So I think, he sped out the 50. We just need Bont and Gorn to do it, so we can get them maybe. Do you think you ever get Bont?
Probably not.
I have to
I mean,
try and figure it.
I've got Eddie Richards. So,
Yeah, okay.
who by the way is probably going to cop O'Shane Mullen on Thursday night. So that'll be great as a huge pod player to cop another tag.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're sort of the big mids. George, as you said, Dacos as well, 160. I mean, last time this happened, he got it. So, bit nervous about that. Anyone else with some high break evens? I think. Look,
No.
Sheezes is 150, but like whatever, just have to cop it now.
Bad ratio. He'll be fine.
Oh, that's right. So, someone I just wanted to quickly mention, probably should have when we were talking about the rucks before, but I know people went Briggs earlier, about a month ago. He just scored
360K now.
pretty bloody cheap.
370, sorry.
50 break even. TDK, whether he's back or not, he gets Carlton this week. Look, I don't know what was wrong with him to have as poor a month of scoring as he did. But he does get, Carlton. Tigers, like Nanks, tough matchup, but he actually always concedes points. And then Port with Vicentini if it's still him. So, look, it's a decent little stretch for him. West Coast just after his bye as well. So, I don't know. There's another real left field move if
I'm
anyone's...
not quite sure what we're going to get from him because this is like there's a 20, there's a 250s in here.
Yeah.
What's going? I think he looked pretty sore. Like, wasn't getting around the ground much. Maybe this is a turn game.
Yeah, not sure, but it's just something else.
He was getting benched for Riccardi a bit as well during games. Like he was sitting out games, and Riccardi was rocking for a bit in second halves.
Yep.
I don't know what's going on there, to be honest. I think I don't mind it actually, to be honest. But like I've got Flynn there. I think I trust Flynn at the moment to score a bit more, even though that like Briggs should be doing 105 like he usually does. It's just not sure what's happened, but I think he can do worse.
Yep.
You just maybe back him in to perform. I don't know.
There'll be some left field people that might like a look at that.
Yeah.
All right, just a couple quick questions then, George. So that you had prioritizing trading out the injured players like your Horn Francis, McRae, or ditching like high break even rookies.
Hewitt.
I mean, this is probably a question for people without a boost, right? So like,
yeah,
if you have a boost, you'll probably be able to do both of those things this week. But if you had like a McRae and Horn Francis, but then also like a Hewitt 86 break even, Bice, maybe if you still had him, Cleary.
If you're getting a premium with low break even, you might as well just get those premiums. But like the number one priority is still Cooper.
Yes, have to get
so
Cooper.
If you're getting Cooper in and you're boosting out McRae and Horn Francis, boosting out those two, I would just hold the high break even rookie and get a premium with a lower break even that might make 10K or something.
Yep.
You get the points this week too.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a boost. So in my instance, I've looked. Well, I wasn't obviously looking at stuff without trading McRae, but now that I probably think I am, it's McRae, Horn Francis, and Cleary out for Cooper, obviously, and then just getting two premiums, and holding a Levi for one more, with also 100 and depending who I go, anywhere from 90 to 120K in the bank. Just got to pick my premiums. Got to pick two this week. Fuck, I'm not looking forward to that. Those decisions. So then I can get Levi up next week to someone. Should we get 22 of the best primos? And I mean, I don't know how that's really possible, George, but
I think it's doable for some people. If you're not like me and trading Josh Dacos and like shit like that,
fake primos. He went all right. Or get probably like 2-3 value ones, so you can get 23.
So like 22 of the best, and then one crap rookie or premium as your 23rd or mid pricer like Kitty or something. I don't know, Shea.
Yeah,
I don't want to call Shea crap, but
or like 20 of the absolute best and like 3 of the.
I don't mind that actually.
Like prioritize getting Butters when he's gettable. Get Nick if you don't have him already.
Yeah.
Bont, who I mean the problem is Bont and gone. Whoever knows, probably never. But
maybe Callum Mills is your 23rd.
As your 23rd.
I don't mind
every
it.
team's so different. It's
Yeah.
probably a hard question to answer definitively, but yeah, we just need guys like Carroll and obviously Cooper. Hopefully, we all get
If
him
that's
in
your
this week.
if that's your strategy, I think it's fine.
Yep. And what's this last question? Will you ever get Bont? Yeah, I don't know, George. I don't know. What is he still like 665, 157
Yeah,
break
another
even?
140.
I mean maybe, but
He always
he's
does this
just
through the middle of the year. 140, 140, 140, 140.
he's so good. Like I don't know how.
Yeah. And dogs are flying too, smashing everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd probably guess no if I had to guess. Because
Yeah.
Butters obviously is the one that's gonna become more available sooner, so that's sort of the priority there. Yeah, all right, we're going pretty long, George. Let's get some quick captains and then get out of here. Are you thinking about Baz? Is that where you've got it currently, or are you looking at Cherry VC and
I don't
see?
VC have 5-day breaks for midfielders. That's not changing.
Even Baz, who's like fittest man in the comp?
Rules are rules. I've got Sherry into Dawson at West Coast at home.
Yep. Yep, if I get Dawson, which I might, that might be the way I go. If I don't, still probably want a BC Cherry, to be honest, dude, just because you don't want to be in that position where you have to take another score and he goes berserk. Look, I really need it just to hit the captain every week from here, like starting to.
Yeah.
Pretty much thanks to Cherry, but yeah, that's the reason I kind of want to VC him. But yeah, if I don't, I'll probably VC Baz and then only take something that's pretty big. Hopefully, it's either really shit or really big for Baz, and then I can make an easy
What's
call.
your line for Baz going into Sherry or Gorn?
Like I'll probably take a 130. Like at the
So
at the end of the
125, no?
DC's not too bad, but I still expect Cherry to probably do well. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. That's the problem. That's why you want to. That's why I VC Cherry last week. I was like, I'm just gonna VC him,
Yeah.
and then. I mean, thank God I was going to captain. I was going to captain Nass.
I was captaining Dunkley, but
I was like single Nass. I don't know, and then
yeah.
Just thank God for Cherry. But yeah, maybe Dawson if I get him in as the backup, and I'll VC Cherry just to play it safe. But Dawson scares me too when he can drop those 70s.
I don't mind. I guess there could be a tag. I was going to say Freo plays same time as North, so I think you have to go Sherry there.
Yeah, they do.
If you don't have a Sherry, maybe you've gone there. I think you could VC an Andy.
Yeah, possibly. Maybe if you had Noah Anderson or something against St Kilda, maybe on Sunday as a backup C to Cherry. I don't know. There's not the greatest options on Sunday, but maybe a Heaney or something against Melbourne. I don't know. Hopefully Cherry does the business again and we don't have to think about it.
Make sure you got it on the ruck.
Yep. All right. Thanks, George. Bit to speak about this week. Probably a bit more news on McRae would be great. And then, it's probably the week of some value premiums. Bring them in, grab Cooper, and go from there. I'm going to have a tough time picking this. Got to get a mid and a forward this week. So I'll have about 1.1 mil or something.
So who are you thinking? Dawson?
Right now I got Dawson and Chad. It just works for me.
That's cool.
But I had Nick and I don't know. I was thinking Jackson, but they got to, whenever Shrek is healthy, they got to play the man. Really, they paid him whatever they did for bloody 6-7 years. As much as I think they're right now better with Jackson, they'll still bring the big boy back in.
I feel pressured too.
But when will that be? I don't know. Do they just give him a month? I don't know. But either way, Jackson's he's not going to play solo ruck the rest of the year, is he? So it's just as much as it sucks, it's you can't really go him. And then I could still just do Shea over Chad and have that extra 100K and put that somewhere. Trade. Yeah, I don't know. All right, enough about that. Thanks for watching, guys.
Hang on, my trades.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yes.
What do you got?
I'm going late.
You changed this 17 times, so
No, I'm closing out this week. I've done Hewitt and Cleary to Cooper and Marshall, and I'm closed app.
You have to do that right though, because you traded TDK. Yes.
Yep. So I've basically made 20k going from TDK with good matchups and a good buy for me to Rowan. It's very bad matchups. But I need a rock.
We had to get him last week. Oh well. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next pod. Cheers.